Hi, welcome to Mental Health Monday Check-ins with Jamie Lynn. I am Jamie Lynn, and this week I want to talk to you about postpartum depression. This is more than just the baby blues. This is significant depression and anxiety that happen pretty soon after childbirth. A woman goes through pretty drastic hormonal changes that affect her physically and affect her emotionally. It can hinder her ability to care for herself and her newborn, and this affects more than 3 million women in the US every year. 3 million. Think about that. Again, this is more than just the baby blues. This is serious anxiety and depression as a result of the extreme hormonal changes that we go through right after childbirth. Childbirth is hard enough. I've done it twice. And whether you had a vaginal birth or a C-section, it's really hard. And it doesn't matter which avenue you took to have your children, you still are going to go through huge hormonal changes, and chances are you may find yourself dealing with some postpartum depression. I know for me, I had a little bit of mild depression when I had my first child, but the way mine manifested was fear. I had this huge fear of her being injured. And I know when I first realized that, oh, this might be postpartum depression, is I was telling a friend that I would take a shower. My husband was deployed, and I would take a shower and I would have this overwhelming fear that like a demon was going to throw my baby into the shower, like over the wall. And it's so irrational, but my emotions were so raw because of those huge hormonal changes. And that was definitely some postpartum depression. Now, I'm not saying that that's normal for everybody or that you're going to experience something like that. That was just my experience with postpartum depression. But I was talking to my friends about it, and because I had those conversations and I told them about this fear of my newborn being injured by a demon, we talked about it, and they let me know, hey, this could be postpartum depression. You should talk to your doctor. And I did. And I'm really glad that I did. And I made that conversation a normal thing with me and my new mom friends. And we would check up on each other, because what I don't want is for someone to have those kinds of fears or any other kinds of anxiety or depression regarding their newborn baby and not tell someone and have that lead to suicide. Because unfortunately, I know a couple of people who have experienced that in their lives. They've had a loved one who just couldn't cope with all of these huge hormonal changes, and suicide was the answer for them. And so I'm hoping that by talking more about postpartum depression and making this a normal conversation, that maybe we can avoid some of those. So what are some signs? So some mental signs of postpartum depression is unable to focus or concentrate. If you're easily distracted, now this is in conjunction with just having a newborn baby. This isn't, ADHD or ADD. So this is when we're looking for at a new mom, and that's out of the norm for her. If she gets really forgetful, if we become indecisive, that could be a sign of a mental sign of postpartum depression. And if you're blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, everything that you're feeling, everything that you're doing is full of self-blame, that's definitely a mental sign of postpartum depression. Some emotional signs of postpartum depression are excessive crying for no reason. I mean, I like a good cry now and then, but I usually have a reason. And so if you find yourself as a brand new mom and you're just bawling, that's definitely an emotional sign of postpartum depression, and you need to talk to your doctor. If you're easily agitated or angered, if you suffer from intense anxiety after having a baby, if you feel immense shame or guilt or hopelessness, those are emotional signs of postpartum depression. Some physical signs of postpartum depression are headaches. I am prone to headaches, so I would never assume that, just because I have a headache that's linked to a certain medical condition. But if you're not prone to headaches and you've had a newborn baby, that's a physical sign of postpartum depression. If you have muscle aches and pains, not related to who have just, pushed or had a baby cut out of you, but if you have flu-like aches and pains, that can be a physical sign of postpartum depression. If you're in stomach pain, if you're suffering from a change in appetite, you're all of a sudden really hungry or not hungry at all, and these are to the extreme, that can be a physical sign of postpartum depression. And extreme fatigue. Now, new moms, we are tired, right? We are like more tired than we ever realized. But if it's to the extreme, to where you're not caring for yourself and you're not caring for your newborn, that can be a sign of postpartum depression, and you need to talk to your doctor about that. this is pretty serious stuff. Again, this is more than the baby blues, and it's okay. More than 3 million moms across the United States suffer from postpartum depression every year. So you're not alone. Talk to a friend, talk to a coworker, call your doctor for sure, or even a nurse if you have a nurse that you're able to access at your clinic. I know as a military spouse, we have the TRICARE nurse advice line. I could call that and say, hey, these are my symptoms, and I could get some medical advice from that. And so if that's an option for you and you're wondering if maybe you have some postpartum depression, call and talk and ask. And it's okay. It's normal. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you next time.